There's a lot of talk right now about Nebraska football, especially if you're a Cornhusker fan. We are off to an 0-2 start. Things are not looking good. Is it time to panic? Is it time to throw in the towel? Welcome back to FFT, guys. I'm Trevor. Let's check it out. So I want to be honest. I just want to make a video about my personal opinions and beliefs about the Nebraska Cornhuskers, our current status, and our projection for the remainder of the season. It's not looking good. I'll be honest about it. We're 0-2. We've lost to Minnesota and Colorado. Colorado being a rivalry game. I was at it. I live in Colorado. That was a hard game to be at. But I've been hearing lots of frustrations and concerns about the current status of our team, whether it's about Satterfield, Jeff Sims, Matt Rhule, the offense in general, the culture and trajectory of our team, breaking this 1 point or 1 score deficit curse that we have or seem to have at least. Let's talk about each of these things, and I'll give you my honest opinion about what I currently believe. But I'll preface this, I'm choosing to have hope in this team. I want to believe that we are able to turn a corner, that Matt Rhule is the real deal. And I know for a fact there's going to be people in the comments saying you're just one of those hopeful Husker fans. You're just a hopeless fan that'll never see Nebraska for what they really are. We're never going to make it back to the greatness that we had in the 90s, and you just need to give it up and accept your fate. And fine, you know what? I'll accept those comments, but I would rather choose to be a loyal fan with hope every season, year in, year out, than go into the season pissed off at my team and dreading the football season. I'm not gonna choose to do that. So that's who I am. If you don't like it, this channel may not be for you, quite frankly. But here we go. So let's talk about some concerns that I have for Satterfield and the offense, or things that, at least that I've been hearing. Because I don't know. I think Satterfield. We're 2 games in. And I do think that Satterfield needs to understand Jeff Sims' strengths and weaknesses and needs to be able to adjust for the remainder of the season. The amount of turnovers that we've been having are unacceptable for any standard, any level of play. We cannot have 3 or 4 turnovers a game and expect to win, regardless of how good your offense and defense is. It's just something that can't happen. And I think that we're starting to really see that Jeff Sims cannot throw the football. And that's a bummer, because that just means that we're kind of relegated to like a one-track team as far as running the ball, and we don't have the capability to throw as much as I think we'd like. We really don't have a ton of weapons in the wide receiver room. We've got like Washington and a couple others, but it's nothing to get too excited about, quite frankly. I do like Gabe Ervin, and hate me if you want. I like Anthony Grant. I know that he fumbled at a crucial moment, but if you take Anthony Grant's 1 fumble as opposed to Jeff Sims' like 7 at this point, I think we can try to give this guy a little bit of a pass. Anthony Grant does have speed. He does have the ability to really make plays out of nothing. But I do think that Gabe Ervin is our guy. I think that he's our go-to guy. I think that he starts as a running back, and I think that we give him 60% plus of touches when it comes to running the ball. And that's my hope, at least going forward. He's quick, he's elusive, he's hard to take down, he's able to break tackles. I like Gabe Ervin a lot. So I think Satterfield needs to adjust. I think that we need to figure out what we're doing in the offense and figure out a game plan that's going to give Jeff Sims the best capability and the best opportunity when it comes to getting those 3rd down conversions and being able to move the ball without turning it over. Crucial. That's extremely crucial. And I get it. We're all aware that turnovers are one of the biggest issues right now for Nebraska football. That's not something new for you guys. But let's talk about Jeff Sims. We're not even sure if he's going to play this weekend. Matt Rhule said that, we're waiting to see. We'll have to, this was yesterday, so it's Friday now. Yesterday on Thursday, he was talking about, we'll just have to wait and see if he's ready. I'm going to have to go back and take a look at him and talk to him about it. But so we've got Heinrich Haarberg and Chubba Purdy, who, by the way, I just realized is Brock Purdy's brother, and Brock Purdy is having an excellent year so far with the 49ers. I know he's only played 1 game, but I have him on my dynasty team, so I'm really excited about him right now. But anyway, Chubba Purdy, if he's anything like Brock Purdy, I'm excited to have him as part of our backups for Jeff Sims. But I believe that Heinrich Haarberg would probably be the starter if Jeff Sims were to not play this weekend. And based off of what we saw at the Colorado game, even just for that little bit, I'm excited. I'm excited to see him and the potential of Heinrich Harburg. I subscribe to the mindset that you're only as good, your team's only as good as your backups. If our running backs go down and we have to rely on a backup, if our wide receivers go down and we have to rely on a backup, same thing with quarterback, people are going to get hurt throughout the season. So we're only as good as our backups. If Jeff Sims is the only person we can rely on for the remainder of the season, we're already in a bad spot. So I kind of hope to see Heinrich Harburg play a little bit just to really see what he's capable of and see if we're able to actually turn on the passing game a little bit more than we have in the past. And obviously, if he's able to reduce the turnovers as well, that would be incredible to see. We haven't really seen our offense in these past 2 games, what their true potential is because of how often we're turning over the ball. We're not able to get anything going. And so I'd love to see that if Heinrich Harburg plays. And I think he would be the starter over Chubba Purdy, but that's yet to be determined. So let's talk about Matt Rhule really quick. I know there's been a lot of concerns about Matt Rhule and the fact that we're 0-2 and Matt Rhule continues to just say Jeff Sims is the guy. I understand if there's frustration about that call and that determination that Jeff Sims is going to be our starter based on how many turnovers he's had. But Matt Rhule is living and breathing Nebraska football. When we're sitting on the fringes, pretending like we know what's going on within the locker room and during the practice, on the practice field every day throughout the week, we don't know. And I'm going to trust in Matt Rhule. I've been saying this since day one. He did it at Temple. He did it at Baylor. My sister goes to Baylor, by the way. I was able to watch him and watch that team when they were exceptional under Matt Rhule. I love the way that he's approaching this team, the culture, this season. We need to remember something. As Nebraska fans, when we brought on Matt Rhule, we told ourselves, we accepted the fact that this was going to be a rebuild, that we were going to need to give Matt Rhule like 2 or 3 years to really see the true potential of what Nebraska football could be again. And it's just so funny because game 1, it's almost like that immediately goes out the window. And we're like, we lost a game. What's Matt Rhule doing? We lost to Colorado. What's he doing? Like, this is unacceptable. Let's take a breather, take a step back. We're only 2 games in. We still have the ability to make a bowl game. Obviously, this is a big game against Northern Illinois that we need to show up and win if we're going to make that happen. We've got to prove that we can actually do something on offense. But let's remind ourselves what we told ourselves originally at the beginning of the season is, we're going to lose some games this year. Matt Rhule is not continuing the culture of 1-score losses. It happened once against Minnesota. But like he said, one of the quotes, and by the way, I just got a new Twitter. I'll link it in the description down below, but go check it out if you guys want to stay informed in the videos I'm posting. But one of the quotes that Matt Rhule said was, for these guys, it's been 3 or 4 years. And I can understand why it's extremely frustrating. He's talking about the football players and the fans. And he's talking about, but this is my first year. And instead of being frustrated, I'm actually excited. It gets me exhilarated to see that we're that close to winning games. And there's a few things that we need to tweak, but our defense is doing well. Our special teams is doing well for the most part. We had some bad punts last week against Colorado. But there are a lot of things that you have to admit as a Cornhusker fan are definitely upgrades from last year, especially the culture that we had with Scott Frost. We were high on him when we brought him in, but it was obviously the more I hear about Scott Frost, I'm happier and happier that he's no longer the head coach for our team. I think Matt Rhule's brought in a culture. He's an honest guy. He's got integrity. He's a man of faith. I love that about him. He knows how to approach a season in the sense that he's not going to lie to his players. He's not going to lie to his fans. He's going to be straightforward and blunt about what's going on, but he is the type of guy that's not going to throw in the towel after 2 losses and just try to make some quick tweaks to get to have us fumble through the year. This is a long-term project for Matt Rhule, and he's got a vision for where we want to be in the next couple of years. And I'm on that train. I am absolutely on that train to support him until we get to year 2 or year 3 and things are worse or the same as they are this year. There's no reason for me as a Husker fan to be a Debbie Downer and start hating on Matt Rhule. I think as Husker fans, we need to come together collectively. We need to rally to this team, especially when we've got our first home game in Memorial Stadium tomorrow night at 5 p.m. I expect everyone showing up in red and rooting on, whether it's Jeff Sims or Harburg. I expect that we give them a true Husker welcome and jumpstart this season for what we can. It's not, I don't expect it to be a pretty season the remainder of the time that we're playing, but I do have hope for the things that we might be able to accomplish. Let's be realistic with where we currently stand. Colorado ended up being better than what people thought, and I'll give them props, but here's the thing. This is kind of an experimental thing with Dion and his team, the sort of hype and just bring in flashy players. And so far it seems to be working, but they haven't really played anybody real in the fact that TCU is not the team that everyone keeps thinking they are from last year. They're not. They're a broken team. They're a shell of a team from the previous year, and they didn't even perform well in the national championship, but that's besides the point. And then they beat Nebraska, who obviously can't get an offense going. So, and we were hanging with them for the first half anyway. So the fact that they barely beat, I'll say barely beat a Nebraska team that's probably worst in our division right now or close to it, I don't think Colorado's all that they're hyped to be, and I would rather have Matt Rhule than Deion Sanders in the sense that I want to see our team grow and continue to excel over the years rather than this sort of quick, exciting, victory that I don't think is going to be able to be sustained from year to year. I just don't. And maybe that's just me hating on Colorado. You can call me out if you think that's what it is, but I would rather have, and this is honest, I would rather have Matt Rhule than Deion Sanders. Even if we were 2-0 right now as Nebraska fans, I would rather have Matt Rhule than Deion Sanders with an 0-2 team. That's just me being frank. I like the guy more. I think we're going to break this curse that we have on Nebraska, and Matt Rhule is the real deal. Our defense, and I'm just going to say a couple more things. Our defense is excellent. I'm going to continue to say this until I see something otherwise. Our front seven is exceptional. Our defensive backs are actually showing up. There's nothing about this defense that I'm hanging my head on. I'm very excited about them playing at home this weekend and to see some. I'm expecting at least 2 takeaways. Maybe we get a defensive touchdown this week. Who knows? But I'm excited about our defense. If we're able to bring this offense around, limit the turnovers. Even if we just did that, even if we just limited the turnovers for the remainder of the season, we give ourselves an opportunity to win the remainder of these games, maybe barring Michigan. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. I'm choosing to be a hopeful Husker, and that's what I'm going to call myself the remainder of the season. I'm going to continue to hang my Husker flag with pride. I'm going to continue to wear my Husker gear as I walk my daughter around the neighborhood in Colorado. I'll get yelled at. I'll be called names, but you know what? I said it in the last video. I am not a fair weather fan. I'm going to be loyal till the day I die. Calling a spade, baby. But that's it. Like I said, I have a new Twitter. Go check that out. I'll link that below. But otherwise, please like and subscribe if you guys want to see some more FFT content. I do the Nebraska Cornhuskers, and I also cover fantasy football. I'll be bringing up videos throughout the week. So like and subscribe if you guys want to see more of that. But until then, I'll catch you later. Go Big Red.